Let's
Peace,
go.
pe-
Ready?
peace, peace,
Ready?
peace. This the bad scientist. We got Elder Yasha here. We're about to do this discussion on addressing the issues of the Israelite camps, the problems that we having, and why they should let people like us, take control now because y'all have failed of which I've been which our job was supposed to be. So my name is Eric the Mad Scientist. You can check me on the
Yeah.
Facebook, TikTok, Bing, and the YouTube, and over here and the Lions Den. And Elder Yash about to tell you where you can find him at, and then we about to get into this discussion.
This is Yasha Ben Israel. You can find me and my works over here at Yasha Ben Israel YouTube channel. You also can find me. What's the name of your channel over there, Eric?
Eric the Mad Scientist.
Okay, you can find me over at Eric Damas for Scientist channel, and you can also find me in the Lions Den, and you can find me over at Sonetta Studios. I got some work over there on Garfield's channel, and I think I might got a little bit of something in Paradigm Shift. That's where you can find my work at. Mostly all of my work, and if you want to learn about Yasha, you come to Yasha Ben Israel YouTube page. Secondary Lions Den, they have about the second biggest volume of my work.
Okay, let's get into the discussion. Addressing the issues with Israelite camps. So we can let the people know why we're speaking on this because we feel like there's a lot of things that they're teaching and doing that is not of what you would call Israelite culture. So I'm gonna let Elder explain a little bit on that.
Well, what the issue is this. I've been in the game a long, 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 long time, right? I've been living about half a century. Hold on for a second.
Yeah, I'll be right back about to explain to y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I've been in this game a while, right? And I was taught this Israelite movement by men that if they were living today, they would be 100, 110, you know, something like that. Guys that has been Israelites from the 40s, 50s, 60s, guys like that. And what I am here to tell you is that I have been entrenched with the wealth of Israelite knowledge, information, and experience, a plethora, right? And what I am trying to convey is that the way the Israelites are practicing the Israelite tradition today is largely Christian influence. And is nothing more than Christianized African Americans. I don't know what's fueling them. It could be the government, it could be Satan, right? It could be their own selfishness. But what I'm stating is this: the Hebrew Israelite movement has been hijacked by Christianity, and that is an issue. It's a very bad issue,
Definitely
and it's
so.
mostly been hijacked or infiltrated by way of your Israelite caps, starting or emanating from 125th Street in New York. You there with me, E?
Yeah, I'm right here listening.
So you got these caps that had come on the scene, right? And they were trying to promote a more Christian agenda. And they did not succeed until ooh, they succeeded, I would guess, around 2000, 2005. But the agenda was set forth in the 90s. And this agenda was that the Israelite movement create a more Christian agenda. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
You can see Nate 7000 talking about this. Nate has probably spilt the information better than any other Israelite from the camps in a video that he has talking about Israelite history. Now, the biasness there is that he's not talking about Israelite history. He's talking about the history of the Israelites starting off 125th Street. Because I was a part of a group of Israelites, right, that was already in Israel before the Israelites on 125th Street ever even got off the ground with their movement, bro. You with me? Eric,
Yeah, I agree. My bad, I was on mute.
yeah, don't mute your mic.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with the camps is I mean, I didn't hear what Nate said though, but I need to go back and hear what he said. But I have a lot of problem with the camps because I see a lot of brainwashing and indoctrination instead of like teaching people who they really are and trying to teach them the truth.
But what are they indoctrinating them with? Are they indoctrinating them with a more Hebrew mindset or a more Christian mindset?
I mean, I'm gonna say more of a cultist mindset, a Christian
Okay,
cultist
not
mindset.
even neither one of them, huh?
Yeah, yeah, more like a cultist.
Yeah,
But if I would say, I would say more Christian cultist.
yes. More the likes like of a Jim Jones.
Yeah,
These groups consist of your ISUPKs, right? They claim to be the home of the truth because General Yohana usurped the position of leadership over Arya, who defunct the ISUPK, who shut the whole school down, pretty much like Elijah Muhammad did the Nation of Islam. I mean, not Elijah Muhammad, Wallace Dean, right? Wallace Dean shut down the Nation of Islam,
which
and
is which
then,
is Elijah Muhammad's son. Just for anybody who don't know.
yes, just so Louis Farrakhan can come and raise it back up again. But Elijah Muhammad's son, after Elijah Muhammad died, shut the Nation of Islam down. I said Islam, I'm speaking too fast. They shut the Nation of Islam completely down. Just so 5 or 7 years, 8 maybe years later, Louis Farrakhan to come and resurrect the Nation of Islam again. Mind you, the world has went a few years with the Nation of Islam no more. What I mean by no more, those people who still continue practicing that way of life and that thinking, but the institution was officially shut down. And then in the late 70s, early 80s, Louis Farrakhan came on the scene and re-resurrected the Nation of Islam. That is exactly what General Yohana has done to the ISUPK. For tax reasons and fraud reasons, Arya shut down the ISUPK. And it was shut down for some years. Then Arya started a new school. Arya is the leader and the creator, the last living a pioneer of that movement. And he was there almost from the beginning.
And I believe he's the one that created the Lashan Kadash.
He created the whole movement, right? Because Abba Bivens actually started it, but the indoctrination, the doctrine, is largely Arya. I thought it was Masha, but Masha, from what my sources tell me, was a much more humbler man. It was his son, Arya, who came in with all of these false doctrines. And then REI kept it going. He kept the ISUPK going after Abba Bivens passed. A nice, clean line of succession, right? So REI for like was it? I don't know whether it was for tax reasons. It was for some type of fraud for certain that they shut down the the original ISUPK, and they started the Israelite school. What is the Israelite church? I was it the I
It's Israelite School of Practical Knowledge.
Nah,
Is
nah,
Israel?
nah. It was like IUIJC or something.
Oh,
Well,
okay, okay.
the school with Jermaine Grant.
Oh, one. You talking about the one west?
Yeah, the school with Jermaine Grant.
Yeah,
Aria sat down and and actually was extorted by Jermaine Grant for leadership. And Jermaine Grant took over that movement. There was no more ISUPK. And then after years of no more ISUPK, the owners officially closed it. Here comes someone out of the blue resurrecting it without ownership, right?
yeah,
Rebuilding it, right? Without ownership. Pretty much like what both Malik Shabazz have done. Malik Shabazz of Detroit and Malik Zulu Shabazz have done with the Marcus Garvey movement. Marcus Garvey been dead. Marcus Garvey's son and grandchildren are living, but you niggas want to re-resurrect the movement. These movements are not built upon the principles of which the original founders had built them on. Truly, the original school of thought that Abba Bivens brought to the scene was very much an Israelite school of thought. You understand me?
yeah,
Now it is much more Christian oriented. And I have to agree with you because it's not as much Christian oriented as it is cultish. Because any Christian in a right mind would see the compromising of his spirituality. Yes, I learned way much more over here in this area than I did in Christianity, but the morality that I have sacrificed, right? You sacrifice your morality to join these modern Israelite groups. There's men in these groups that are so power hungry that they would tell you when and when you can't have sex with your wife. You heard me, Eric?
yeah. Yeah, I already know. I can't hear you.
There's men in these organizations. Yahweh ben Yahweh has been reported to have controlled people's marriages, man. To the T. When they can have sex, when they can't. That's crazy. Malachi York, even when he was under the Ansar Allah Islamic Israelite Hebrew community, right? This stuff is taking place, even said up under my mentor, the great Ben Ami. I mean, I would say to a much great lesser degree, and probably up not under Israel, up under Israelite Ben Ami sanction, of course, but it happens. Uh, we can see what IUIC in the recent death of Joy Morgan. The issue was these elders are controlling marriages, right? They control your marriage. We got the Shariah Yasharella case. You know, Rob Bourne's baby mama. Look at the pain that the ISUPK has caused her in her fake marriage. right? There's so much going on in these Israelite organizations, and the leaders are so arrogant to where they want to control marriages. Imam Isa, Malachi York was have said to tell people when they can have sex, have sex, and be able to move you out of the way, right? And to be able to have sex with your wife. Imam Isa has had. Eric, take control of this mic for a second. I got something going on over here.
Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah. I'm gonna say it's some stuff that I've been through when I first went to uh went to the US the ISUBK school. I know that I felt like because I always been a person who never wanted to be enslaved under a doctrine, right? So when I was at church, that's why I left church at 12 because I used to ask questions and couldn't nobody answer. So when I ran into ISBK, I used to think like, oh man, these people had the answer. So one day I went out going to classes. You gotta wear all black. You know, what I mean, that's cool. You want people to wear black. Um, you know, you can't. I think you can't have sex for a certain period of time. You can't talk if you talk to a woman, you gotta ask her if she has a husband. And if she have a husband, you gotta tell her I
Hold
can't
on,
talk.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Repeat that again. Now, something just went past me real fast.
The last
Slow that
part, the
down.
last one, the last one.
No, the like two parts before that.
All right, I'm gonna say it again. You got to wear all black. You have to you can't have sex for a certain period of time. You
Boom.
can't you
Okay, okay, okay.
if you talk to a woman, you gotta ask her does she have a husband first. If she has a husband, you gotta tell her I can't talk to you. I only can talk to your husband. Right?
Okay, so okay, how does this work? We want to see. I'm gonna show you the bullshit in that. I mean, this Josh is keeping it raw. This is why I got my own page, y'all. So I could just tell the truth and keep it raw. I'm gonna show y'all the bullshit in that. All right. Okay, I can only have sex for a certain. Okay, I join your organization, right? Let's say I'm a single man, right? And I don't have a wife, right? And you gonna tell me that I gotta wait. Let's say a certain period. Let's say 6 months. You gotta tell me that upon joining your group, I gotta wait 6 months to have sex. If I'm not a married man, is that good advice or bad advice?
You said if you're not a married man?
Yeah.
I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I get that's
Hold
to
up,
me. That's
hold
why
up. If I'm not married and I'm having sex, I'm sinning by committing fornication. Now I'm gonna ask that again. If you tell me a non-married man that I have to wait 6 months before I can commit fornication because I'm not married. Right, it don't make sense. Take the
yeah,
mic, Eric, and tell me how you break that down, bro.
yeah. That's why I said it didn't make sense to me. That's why when I first it didn't make sense. It just felt like more control because it's like, what does it matter if I wait a certain time or something like that, right? So
What if me and my wife was married? What if me and my wife was married 10 years, and you gonna tell me I can't fuck my wife for 6 months, bro? The Bible tells me it's my job to handle the conjugal needs of my wife. The Bible says a man is supposed to provide food, clothing, shelter, and to take care of his wife's conjugal needs. Who in the hell are you to come on the scene and tell me that I have to stop having sex with my wife for a certain period of time to enter your organization? Do you got an answer for that, Eric?
no, I don't.
Because you studied a group, you've been in it.
Yeah, no. I mean that's kind of why I left because then it's like they tell you what you can do. Like they say you can't smoke weed, right? They try to tell you that even though there's nothing in the Bible about not smoking weed, but they'll tell you that you can drink. You will see them with a bottle of Hennessy drinking, You see what I'm saying? So it's like that's why I say it's more to me. It's just more control because it's just like I'm telling you what you can and what you can't do. And then the last thing that really made me leave is when I ain't even say leave because I won't never in it. I was in class, so I never really. I was like getting initiated into it, but I never went into it all the way. But what
But as an
maybe,
Israelite group, your job is to follow the law, statutes, and commandments.
yeah,
Okay, where's the law, statute, and commandments in those teachings?
no, no, well,
I mean, can you find it anywhere? I mean, can you find a fragment of the teaching anywhere in that?
no,
What you're finding is the MK Ultra. Uh-oh. Yasha, you better prove what you say. Don't you be throwing that out there about them people. What you find, I'm going to say it again, is the MK Ultra mind control. Because the evidence point back to that, but it does not point back to Yah Israel. You get what I'm saying, E?
yeah.
Am I talking a little fast or a little
Nah,
excited?
nah,
Am
I
I
hear what
talking a little crazy here?
Now I hear what you're saying, and but the last thing that made me leave is when it was one day they were speaking on the 12 tribe chart, and I was like, um, and they were talking about, let's say they were talking about Brazil, and they said Brazil is a certain tribe or Cuba, and I said, well, if like say Brazil, if Brazil is a certain tribe, right? I said, what people are you talking about? Because you have indigenous people, you have people supposedly off the boat, and then you have Spaniard people, and then you're trying to mix all them people under one name and saying Brazilian
Brazilian.
people are
Anybody that, yeah,
exactly.
that's just
And
like
then
saying
and then
American, you
and
know.
then and then they told me basically don't ask no questions. We had the truth. We don't need nobody to answer to ask no questions. So I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So I was like, no.
Oh, yeah. Hey, let's jump on that real quick. Now, I want you people to understand something here. It's get down and lay down with these niggas,
Yeah.
right? It's get down on F you with these niggas. The problem with that is I can get down with you or lay down if getting down with you was over a righteous cause and purpose, right? But I can't get down and lay down with you or lay down with you over the fraud. A matter of fact, if I had the choice to get down and lay down with the frauds, I'm gonna choose to lay down, right? That means you gotta fucking fight me because I'm not laying down. You're gonna have to lay me down. You get what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm not laying down, man,
I'm,
to
I'm gonna
false
be back in
teachers
like
and
two
false
minutes. I gotta do
doctrine.
some. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I gotta do something real quick.
All right. I want to talk about, get back to before we go a little further into this Israelite leaders, right? And how they dominate the marriages, right? That's one of my biggest problems. They'll sit up there and tell an Israelite woman, a newly recruit, right? They would tell her that if she is under a certain age, no matter what her vaginal status is, that she's a virgin. Okay, let's say there's an 18-year-old young lady with two children, never married. They used to be a stripper, right? But because she's 18 or 20 or 22, and she falls under the age that they set for an Alma, then no, she's not a Bethula virgin. She's an Alma virgin because she fits in this age bracket. So they lie to the woman and tell the woman that she's a virgin again. No, she's a young woman, a Alma, right? Alma does not mean virgin. We got to get that straight, right? And it was only bent to mean virgin by the translators of your 1611 King James Bible, right? And even others, Europeans prior to that. The Afro-Asiatics never saw Alma to mean virgin. Now, Alma can include a virgin because it includes Alma is a woman from like maybe the age of birth to maybe like 25, right? It's a young woman of marriageable age, a young woman that can have sex, that can have babies. She's at the age where she can plant and bear family, right? That's all Alma is. But they'll lie to her and tell her she's a virgin, but she's not a virgin, right? Yes, there were young Almas in Israel that had babies. There was young Almas that was married, but they were saw as young women and not virgins. So it's a lie for you to tell a woman who's had her vagina cracked, that has had her cherry busted and cracked and popped, right? It's a bad thing to tell that type of woman that she's a virgin because it is a lie, right? Hold on for 1 second, family. And then you have in the scriptures, right? I'm back. Then you have in the scriptures where the scripture says that the criteria for a woman, the criteria for a man first, to be a husband that he's able to provide food, clothing, shelter, and to handle her conjugal needs, right?
I'm back.
That's what his job is as a husband, as a man. That's the criteria. If a man cannot provide food, clothing, shelter, take care of his wife's conjugal needs, then he is not fit to be a husband. If he could, basically, I'm saying that let's say he provides food, clothing, shelter, but he's impotent. Then he is not qualified to be a husband, because his wife could cheat on him. She has needs that need to be met. And Ray Parker Jr. said it best. Well, a woman needs the love just like you do. Don't fool yourself by thinking that she don't. She will fool around. Yeah, she will fool around. Yeah, y'all better listen to the words of those elders in that music, man. Our elders taught us there's a message in the music. OJ reference. You better understand that, because since the music has went from that type of R&B and soul music to what we call drill music, now you niggas need a psychiatrist. Now you niggas need a correction officer and other form of disciplinary and mental health. When before, a lot of our problems were solved in the music. Getting back to what I'm saying, you have these situations that where when a man is to marry, in order for him to be fit for marriage, and one of the criterions for marriage is that this man be able to provide food, clothing, shelter, and take care of his woman's conjugal needs. When you break that down in America, America has emasculated the black man so much to where he can't provide shelter because he don't own a house, right? He can provide food, but a lot of these guys going 50-50 with their wives, right? Food, clothing, shelter. So he can't really put, she buy her own clothes, right? Because she all 50-50. She going 50% on the bills, right? So that's food and clothing you ain't, that's a shelter you not providing. And then by her not being a virgin, and had many, many experiences, many better than you that she even long and dream about, right? That she missed, right?
Yeah.
This the type of woman that you marry. You can't provide none of these things fully for this woman, bruh. You can't provide the conjugal needs for your woman if you impotent. You can't provide the conjugal needs for your woman if she been in a relationship with a boyfriend who dick is 3 inches bigger than yours, right? Come on, man, wake up. Then you gotta look at the flip side of the woman. What qualifies her to be a wife? What qualifies a woman to be a wife is nothing more than her vaginal status, bruh. But the ISUPK and the camps is not teaching you this. Her vaginal status was so important that we had to stamp it and mark it and track it and trace it. What you think the purpose of the wedding ring is for? What do you think the purpose of the nose ring is for? What do you think the purpose of the marriage and death certificate is for? It's to track how many men that you have been with, right? And because the only way that a woman can be fit to be a wife in this Hebrew Israelite movement is that she got to be number one, a virgin. And if she's not a virgin, then she has to, her husband have to have had died. You understand what I'm saying? She has to be a widow,
Yeah.
or she has to be divorced. And I'm saying that she has to have been a widow in a well-tracked marriage that could track her virginity, right? Right?
Yeah.
None of y'all guys ain't got that. And this is why y'all come up with these lies, man. The truth of the matter is none of these women that y'all call y'all wives, 5 wives, now one of them is your wife. Because now one of them fit the criteria for wifehood. They do fit the criteria for concubine, right? And many others fit the criterions for death, according to the scriptures. Am I lying, brother Eric?
No, you're not.
So since you ain't gonna kill them, you can't make her your wife. Most of the African American women, I hate to say it, born in pagan heathenism, the Bible said, God said, remember me in the days of thy youth, and they failed to do that. So now they forfeited their wifehood. And there's nothing that can be done about it. You can have these preachers lie to you. You can have them fix your man up and brainwash you to think whatever you want. The statistics state that 80% of black marriages fail in fucking divorce. That's because you motherfuckers got married and didn't pay attention to the laws. You married men that was not able to provide food, clothing, shelter, conjugal needs, and you Negroes have married women that sexual status could not be stamped and validated and marked. Am I making any sense, Eric?
Yeah.
And this is the ISUPK because they don't want to do what's right. They want to lie and look like we upstanding people. Man, we not upstanding people, bro. We people that done fucked up and trying to get it right. Am I lying, Eric?
No.
You
So
going to get it right, you better do it right.
we will talk about the General Yohana has claimed that he is the third command, that is God, Jesus, and then him, right? And then
What's
Jesus.
his historical scriptural, spiritual validation for that.
I haven't really
Because
never seen church.
historically, Ariya did not give you the ISUPK. You usurped it.
Yeah,
Wallace Dean did not give Louis Farrakhan the Nation of Islam. He usurped it. You feel me, bro?
yeah.
You can go take the mic, man.
Well, nah, I mean, I was basically saying that he said he's the third, that is God, Jesus did him, and that Jesus sends him the messages. And I want to speak on the camps saying that they can mess with, some of the camps, a lot of the camps are saying they can mess with teenage girls once Jesus come back out the sky.
Oh, God. Well, we know that now you have dormant perverts, right? You
Yeah,
got perverts sitting in dormant for the day that Jesus come. Basically, you got forever eternal dormants because Jesus ain't coming back, y'all.
yeah,
And we can make that clear because there was never ever such thing as a person called Jesus, right? There wasn't no Israelite ever called Jesus, right?
well,
So you want to say, well, yeah, it was Yeshua. But even in that case, I won't say there was no Israelite called Yeshua. But I will say you're going to have a problem with the Israelite named Yeshua being the Messiah of King of Israel.
yeah,
So you got issues. You got General Yohanan saying that he's the second, first, third in command. But historically, you don't have no validation for that, General Yohanan, right? And then spiritually, right? You don't have no validation for that, right? And then scripturally, you don't have no validation for that. So what validates General Yohanan being the first, second, or third in charge? Huh? Ariel didn't do it.
I guess he said Jesus did
Jesus don't exist.
it.
When did Jesus come to you, General Yohanan? What he looked like? How tall was he? What was the degree of his skin color? Right? Was he a
Yeah.
black man?
Matter of fact,
Was he a light
I'm gonna
skinned
see if I
black
can.
man? Was he a deep, dark black man?
While you
Was
talking,
he
I'm gonna
a
see if I can
thin
find
black
that.
man?
While you talking, I'm gonna see if I can find that little piece of him saying that.
Jesus did not come to him, bro.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna show a
Not
little piece.
even in his mind. Not even in a dream. Because you know what? All of the old elders came to us with dreams and told us that they had dreams that the angels came to him. This nigga ain't even got a dream of Jesus coming to him, bro. Is you hearing what I'm saying, brother E?
Yeah,
What do it mean then? What do it mean what I just said? It means the nigga's a fraud, dude.
what's the face of the hate group?
Hands down, right?
Yeah,
Moab is the Chinese. No, they not. The Moabites are not the Chinese. You have no historical, scriptural, or spiritual evidence to support that. You saw the white man. You have no scriptural, historical, spiritual evidence to support that. Sex is marriage. No, sex is sin in marriage is divine. Sex is sin. Marriage is divine. Sex ain't no goddamn marriage. Sex is not marriage. What about what about the man who was married to his wife who had a sexual encounter with his wife's daughter. So now he married to both of them? No! He's a married man that committed adultery, and pedophilia is not rape and molestation. Am I right, brother Eric? You there with me, E?
Yeah, yeah, I'm listening.
Am I right?
Yeah, I had my mic was mute.
Go ahead, take the mic, man, because I wanted you to go ahead and do more of this show, man.
Well, yeah, like I said, he
I
said
want to introduce my audience to you
he just say
thoroughly.
he just say he the second to Christ. And then they do a lot of like donations, like a lot of that stuff they wearing, them people buying and stuff. So that's how their money be flowing through their them garments. And so to me, it really ain't about the wear. What they do is they force people to say, "Oh, you have to have fringes, you have to have this on," and just for you to have to go bad. And then they say, why they know you can't find people that know how to just put fringes on stuff. They go say, "Oh, my wife make them, we make them, we do them for source."
Yeah. I don't really have a problem with that. That's business, that's economics. And all business should do that, right? But when you tell this lie, now you can say that these are ISUPK garments, right? But when you say the ancient Israel that Moses wore this shit, you're lying. Moses didn't go to Joanne Fabrics to make no goddamn uniform, bro. Am I lying, brother Eric? Take your mic off, man. We having a dialogue here today, E.
Yeah, I got people in the background. That's why we.
It's all right. As long as they ain't doing it like they do in my damn house,
Yeah,
interfering with the call and shit. Yeah.
yeah, but
Go ahead, take the mic, E. I want you to get down over here, man.
yeah, well, yeah.
Or we're gonna end the show because I don't have much to say other than what I said.
I mean, we said it basically. We discussed basically the topics that we want to discuss on what they was teaching.
Well, that's
I
a
mean,
whole lot more. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot more. You know, it's a whole lot more that we haven't that we haven't. When you talk about the issues with an S, we haven't even scratched the goddamn surface, bro.
yeah, but we'll need like 3 shows to do that. But
Yeah. So we'll call this part one.
yeah,
You got anything to say before we close
I mean,
out?
yeah, I mean, I'm just saying the people they gotta the camps. Yeah, like I said before, y'all need to lay down, man, and let us real Israelites, our brothers in like the Mona, the people like Mighty Hebrew, the people like brother Elder Yasha, the ones that's really teaching
But
this Hebrew
we got
stuff.
some good New Testament. We got some good New Testament Israelites that these niggas need to bow down to, though.
Anybody dealing with a camp need to bow down. If you're dealing with a
Yeah,
camp or you teaching any camp doctrine, you need to leave it alone. And you need to come under real teachers who's really teaching the Hebrew way and the Hebrew culture, because Hebrewism is not a religion. Hebrews come from a nation and are a nation
that's
of
right.
people, not a religion of people.
That is right.
And
But that
y'all gonna learn how to defend the Bible. Y'all gonna learn how to really understand the Bible. Y'all gonna learn how to teach the Bible once y'all come under real teachers.
yeah, yeah. Because it's I remember a time, Eric, where all Israelites, including the ISUPK, man, with their knowledge, they were stunning people. They were leaving people spellbound. Today, the ISUPK and them camps is leading us in embarrassment. The same people that they was destroying 10, 20 years ago, tearing their ass up today, bro.
Yep.
And
Preachers,
they
everything.
always got to get the new Old Testament Israelites to save them. Just like in the Kimmerer War Machine. I mean, what ain't that what it was? The Israelite war machine, the Hebrew war machine?
Hebrew warfare, yeah.
Yeah, they needed Israelites to save them, man.
Yeah.
Eric, I gotta run in the store. Hey, hold it down for like 3 minutes for me.
Okay. Yeah, but again, And then, like I said, more of the doctrine I didn't like people like Esau, right? 1 minute you ask one minute you ask and say, hey, so who is the snake in the tree? They'll say the white man. Then you'll say, well, who is Esau? The white man. So it's like what they did is what this is what it's called. It's called black supremacy. It's nothing but another form of white supremacy. It's just the opposite. It's just a bunch of it's like a racist group of people that took a Bible or took something and is trying to make it into like a race book. When it was created, it wasn't no such thing as race. So what they doing is, what I'm saying, they're taking certain books that they know people are following it, and then they're trying to put what they would call like black nationality or black racism over the top of it. They're trying to teach it from that. So that's the problem that I have because when you're trying to teach something, if you're trying to tell the people the truth, if you're trying to teach history, if you're trying to read stuff in the right way it's supposed to be read, it doesn't supposed to have a biasness to any of it. It's supposed to be what it is. You see what I'm saying? So, and that's the problem that we just having because the Nation of Islam did that. The camps doing it. Now they going into these churches, and a lot of these Israelites is taking over the churches, they're just ruining it even worse because they're not even teaching um the right way, and they call themselves New Testament people, and that's why you see them getting beat up by preachers now because preachers are actually going with the scriptures say, and they're trying to determine and break it down the way that it benefits of what they teach. I remember one time I heard Johanna say, I don't even know if it was Johanna, it was somebody in class. It was
Hey,
somebody. I heard them
I
say that.
want go ahead, go ahead.
Hold up, no, I was about to say I heard them say that Buddha. It was a word Buddha in the Bible or something. They was talking about weed because he was like, we call Buddha weed. I was like, what? Like it was like a stretch. Yeah, it was like a stretch they tried to do in the Bible. Yo, that shit was like, what? How you even try to put that to?
I think in this part one, I wanted since because the most of this content in part one was the issue with the caps, right? The Israelite caps. Part
Yeah,
one. And I'm gonna name this one sexual deviance. And I want to just focus on the sexual deviance of them. And then in the next show, right, we can come up with another aspect and dedicate that show to that, right? And then
yeah,
part three, and we could just keep this. We could make this an ongoing series because
yeah.
they eternal fuck boys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
because
it ain't gonna
on the next show, I'm gonna show you the pictures that they have of the people that they say are part of the 12 tribes, and they're not showing the African people that came off the boats or the people that came off the boats in South America. When I show you these people, you're gonna be like, these not even our people. So that's what I'm saying when they just making it weird when they do that. If it's not what they really believe and it's something they trying to do to unite different types of people in these shit, then that's fine. But they're trying to make it seem like they're putting everybody that's the same people under one thing, and everybody ain't the same people. Isn't every neighbor in America not even the same person? So
Israelite with the mixed multitude, right? There was room for others inside of Israel, but they couldn't usurp Israel, bro.
yeah,
Right? They couldn't interpolate Israel or interlope Israel, right?
yeah,
They had to fall under Israel. They couldn't even stand next to Israel, bro.
yeah,
Just like in America, 2023. Man, we not standing over the white man, right?
yeah,
We ain't even standing next to that motherfucker, even though we got a black president, and we had a black vice president. We not standing neck to neck with this motherfucker, bro. Right?
yeah,
We always up under him. And I'm saying that because of the ISUPK's eternal fuckdom, right?
yeah,
That eternal fuckery, because they're not gonna stop. We shouldn't even say we're gonna do 3 shows or 5 shows or 10 shows. We should just do the shows in number
yeah,
and title. You understand what I'm saying, E?
yeah. But let me
We're dealing with the sexual deviation, man,
yeah.
that radiates from these Israelite groups. You get married, right? The same, these New Testament niggas, right? And they don't know that the New Testament convicts them and condemns them far more, you know what I'm saying, than the
Yeah.
Old Testament would ever.
Yeah, we got to end it soon though, cause yeah, it's about to get lit real loud in here. So
You say what now?
I said we can end it. We can end it soon, cause it's about to get real loud in here. So I wanna.
Oh, okay. You can pause it. You know, you can put yours on mute, and I'm gonna say my last say,
Okay.
and then we're gonna end it. Yeah. So, what was I at right there before you said that? Give me a trigger word.
Um.
Uh, what was I talking about there?
Oh, dude, we talking about the 12 tribes.
No, I ain't. No, that wasn't the right trigger word though. That ain't taking me
We,
where I
we were
want
talking
to
about
go.
we were talking about the 12 tribes and how the people that's not of us was could be able to join with us.
Yeah, I want to go to something I was saying a little bit after that, talking
Oh,
about the sexual deviancy. Oh, okay. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna end this on this note. These are New Testament guys, and I'm gonna show you how the New Testament is far more strict on sexual deviancy, right? And these guys want to run to the New Testament because they think that they can fuck up, do wrong, and go to Jesus for forgiveness, right? But Jesus said, I think it's in Matthew 10, man, and they talked about marriage, right? Moses gave room for divorce, Jesus did, right? Jesus said, well, God put together, let no man put asunder, man. And he was talking about marriage. You understand what I'm saying? You know, the New Testament is far more strict. You don't have the right to divorce with the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? You just don't have that right. You know, the New Testament didn't tolerate divorce. And then you have other issues in the New Testament, you know, that was far more strict. Christ was far more stricter than Moses with sexual deviancy. But because people think that because they messed up, that Jesus is an intermission, you know, he is the mediator, and they can go to Christ on their stead. Nothing could be further from the truth. Christ was far stricter than Moses. Christ did not allow divorce, which means that a woman was supposed to stay with the same man that took her virginity. And the only way she could be with another man under Christ was that she was a widow, because Christ did not tolerate it. You see? So Christ was a very hard, a fast and hard rule, okay, against sexual deviancy. And they would be better off up under the Mosaic law with their sexual deviancy than up under the laws of Jesus. Because Jesus was a fast and hard rule against, he was a fast and hard rule against sexual deviancy. That being the case, I laid down everything I needed, and we're going to close this particular show out. Eric, you got anything you like to say before we close the show out? That being it, holla at y'all for take two, round two. Shalom.